Welcome back to Riff Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a very exciting episode because we are going to write a riff with the brand new Architect Tiger Studios Argent Metal writing template. This template is available now at architecttigerstudios.com. It's available in its fully decked out version, which I'll be using today in this video, using third-party mixing plugins like Pro Q4, Soundtoys Decapitator and Devil Lock, and many others. But it's also available in a light version for those of you who don't own these third-party mixing plugins. The light version still uses the most important third-party sample libraries and plugins like GGDP5, GenBase 2, Serum 2, but it drastically cuts down on the plugin requirements specifically for these mixing plugins like EQs and compressors. So be sure to check the ATS website for the full plugin requirement list for each version of this template. I'm also super excited to announce that the full version of this template is available in Ableton 12 with the light version on the way shortly. So without further ado, let's write some Argent Metal riffs. That's kind of a cool groove. I like that. That's pretty dope. I'm gonna run with that. That's sick. We're gonna get a scratch take of that down. So here's the template. It is not unlike what you've seen before on this channel. The Argent Metal videos that I did just a few weeks ago, this is essentially that template. So if you guys enjoyed the sound of those riffs and if you guys enjoyed those videos, I think you'll really enjoy this template. What tempo are we gonna be? Down, 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 down. Okay, 160. All right, let's get a scratch take down. 2, 3, 4. That was not the riff. That was incorrect. All right, that was fine. So let's get some drums going here. There we go. There's the crazy over-the-top drum mix. Do I want to do like a... I keep doing for these Argent Metal riffs like a 4 on the floor thing, which I think is really cool and it works really well and it's very like Mick Gordon-y. But I wonder if we should like sync up the groove a little more. Down, 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 down. Has a little bit of a meat hook vibe from Doom Eternal. Yeah, so simple, but such a sick riff. So groovy too. That was good. I like that groove. That's nice. Sweet. Let's do cymbals. Cool. We should do double crash. Psh, psh. Double crash. Psh, psh. You know? Psh, psh. Yeah, that's cool. Little splash action. Okay, we can't do double crash if we do that. Sweet. There's our drum groove. Nice. So now we can start layering like crazy. That is the name of the game with this template, man. It is just layers on layers on layers. Let's go ahead and program bass. That way I can just copy the bass MIDI down to all the synths that I want to use. The reason I went with program bass for this template is just because software instruments are going to be way easier to control. And I've noticed that with Argent Metal stuff, I like the sound to be as perfect as possible. So like perfectly edited guitars, if not programmed guitars. Programmed bass is great. And then all the synths perfectly quantized and placed on the grid. I like everything to be super locked in with each other for this style of music. So that's kind of the direction with this stuff. So those were wrong, but that's all right. That's a quick fix. Okay, we can do MIDI transform, fixed note length, operate. There we go. All right, now we gotta just go through and add in all of the pitch bend stuff. So we wanna hit the bottom of that note by the time we get to the next one. There we go. Yeah, that's a good little automation curve there. Now we can just copy that every time it bends. Nice, perfect. Now we can copy that down to all the synths we want to use. So show you guys a little bit. So I've got a bunch of different synths down here that I have a bunch of different applications for, but right now I want to use the Ultraviolence Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare synth patches because those are great for doubling guitar riffs. And then some of these you need to transpose up or down an octave depending on the synth. So some of them are a little muddy when you go too low. That's sick, dude. I also have this sine bass patch that sounds really sick. You probably cannot hear that if you don't have headphones or good speakers. But it's just a really, really low sine wave to get that subby low end in there. Hey, Editing Nick here. I just wanted to add real quick that a few of these synth patches down here in my synth bus, I think the Paper Synth, Ultraviolence, and Filter Synth, those are actually presets based on some synth patches made by the Noise Department that I modified and processed in my own way. So I just wanted to shout them out real quick. Go check out their Argent Metal Serum packs. I'll have a link in the description. Their stuff is super sick. Dude, already, even without the guitars, that's banging. Like, dude, you can write riffs with this template without guitars. And then if you wanted to throw in some programmed guitars using the processing that's here, you could do that too. The template doesn't have programmed guitars in it, but if you have your own programmed guitars and you want to do that, go for it. Dude, that sounded so sick right now. All right, last thing before we track guitars, I have this drum effects bus down here, and I've got these tracks. And I like to double the real drums. They're programmed. It's GGD-P5. But I like to double the real drums, the kick and snare, with some samples that I designed together. So these samples that I have that you'll get in a pack just like this, it's not a lot. It's only 5 samples, but they go a really long way. So I've got this Argent effects snare. Sounds like that. It just adds kind of like electronic element to the drums, which I think is really nice for this genre. Then I've got this live kick doubler that does the same thing just to the kick. Sounds like that. So I put it on this track, and I've got these tracks leveled how I like them too. Obviously these are tweakable and you can do whatever you want, but that's how I have them right now. And then I've got this metallic snare, which is really crazy, fun, distorted, industrial sounding kind of thing. So I like to double my real drums with these samples. So you can drag them in like this, or you can make a sampler track out of them in Logic or Ableton. But I'll just go ahead and do it like this just because that's what I'm doing. Hell yeah. Yeah, I would recommend making a sampler instrument. The reason I don't have it as a sampler instrument in the template is just because I noticed when transferring the template from computer to computer, it was kind of unreliable. So I decided to make it just a sample pack that you guys can use whatever method you want to use to achieve the same thing. Yeah, dude, that's banging. Cool, let's track guitars. So I want guitars to be like perfect. So I'm gonna track these very carefully and I'm gonna do it piece by piece. All right, let's track. Here we go. Got to get those bends perfect because I want the bends from all the synths and the bass to match up like perfectly with the guitars. That was good, I think. Let's try it. I was late on that one. Nice. I can use that throughout the whole riff. All right, let's get that. Nice. Nice, dude. This is already sounding sick. The last two of those were good. Sweet. Nice, dude, that's so clean. Quantize feature using flex. It's a little hit or miss sometimes, but you know, we can fix it if it gets messed up. Nice. Dude, perfect. Okay, we can repeat this whole thing and then put a melody on top of it using some of these synth patches down here that I have dialed in for leads. Kind of like that. Yeah, do like a little slow pitch bend at the end. Could be cool. I kind of messed it up because I didn't know what I was going to do yet. I was kind of just improvising it. But the take, other than that, wasn't too bad actually. And then slowly bend down right there. Oh, we can go farther than that for sure. Nice. That's sick, dude. Okay, so we've got this spooky melody patch here. We've got this other gnarling hog lead. Not 100% sure if it's right for this part, but it's still a cool patch. Could just be nice. It's nice support. I like that. Then we've got a spooky distorted lead. Let's see how that sounds as a layer. Spooky distorted lead not working too well on this part, but it could be cool for maybe a build-up or something. We could do a classic stop with a little lo-fi break right before the melody hits. Hell yeah, dude. Now I'm kind of liking that spooky distorted lead. Okay, sweet. The other thing I want to do for this is make a little synthy intro build-up thing. But I want to use this chainsaw pluck down here and maybe this filter synth. Cool thing you can do with this chainsaw pluck preset here is automate the cutoff here in Serum right here. You can kind of make it open up over a period of time. Let's automate it up and see where we want it. Nice. Yeah, just add some intensity towards the end. I think the filter synth is probably the one I want in the front. Nice. And then I have the paper synth preset up here, which is sick. And I've got this pew pew preset up here, which is cool too, which it just really just makes a little laser gun type noise. Doesn't matter where you play on the keyboard. It's all just laser noises, which I think is cool as kind of like a fun build-up thing. So I kind of just want like 16th notes going. Or 8th notes rather. 2, 3, 4. Cool. Just quantize that. I'll automate the volume up on that as it goes along. Okay, some other samples I've included here are the Moog Noisy Kick and the Moog White Noise. So this Moog Noisy Kick is a sample I made with the Moog Sub 25 over here, and I kind of just made a kick drum out of it, and it sounds like this. So yeah, it lives up to the name. It is super noisy, but yeah, it's super aggressive. I think it's really cool. And then I got this White Noise from the Moog as well, and I put OTT and a ring mod on it, and I like to double the kick with that White Noise, and it sounds really cool. Yeah, super cool. I like that. It's like noisy and aggressive, and I think it's really cool. Program a little groove here. Kind of want these kicks to be a little shorter than that. Don't want the noise to ring out that long. That's cool, man. You know what I could do? I could take this metallic snare, have it doing a little backbeat, but use some EQ to lo-fi it out a little bit. That's cool. You know what? Now that I'm thinking of it, I think I like the chainsaw pluck being the upfront one. It would sound like if we did that an octave down. We could do lo-fi guitar in the intro as well. Maybe a little drum fill here. Nice, dude. That's sick. All right, I'm liking where we're at with this. So the bass drops and impacts and stuff I typically use, they're just ones I've found off of Splice that I really like. So these samples are not included with the template, but I do have an effects bus here that has a little bit of processing on here that helps you handle some of the impacts and bass drops that you might want to use. So you can drag whatever you like to use onto these tracks here. You can make a bunch of new tracks. But the spots are there for you to have your impacts and effects and stuff. All right, so one thing I like to do here that I've included with this template is this Sidechain Ghost track here. And it is a track with no output. You can see here that there is no output on it, and it just has one instance of this Klopfgeist instrument from Logic. It is a stock Logic instrument. It's the same instrument that produces the click sound for your metronome in Logic, but I used it here so you could use it as a sidechain ghost. So I've got a compressor on the instrument bus up here that is routed to that sidechain ghost track. You can get super, super consistent audio going to your compressor for your sidechain. And what I do is I just copy all of the kick MIDI and copy that onto that track. Boom, there we go. So I can show you what this sounds like. If I turn the output on and just go to stereo out, it sounds like this. So it's just my kick MIDI. That's the rhythm that's going on there. But I'm gonna turn my output back off and you'll see what that does to the sidechain compressor up here. So you've got that awesome pumping going on, and then you've got it coming from a super, super, super consistent source. And that's the intended use for that track. But anyway, I'm happy with how this riff is sounding. So let's put the mastering chain on and give it a listen. The mastering chain is included with this template. I just take most of the mastering chain off while I'm recording into it so I don't get a bunch of crazy latency. Okay, here we go. Dude, there we go. We have a 30-second demo fully produced out in under an hour. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Riff Thursday. If you're interested in getting this template, head to the link in the description, architecttigerstudios.com, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's available in Logic, it's available in Ableton, and the light version is coming soon for Ableton. Make sure to check the plugin requirement list before you purchase. And those of you who do snag this template, I hope you enjoy it and I hope you have fun with it. All right, see you guys next week. Peace.